Jakob Ingebrigtsen is back, and his first major 1500-meter test brings him straight into Hocker. The American took Olympic gold from him in Paris, while Jakob has spent months fighting back from Achilles surgery. Now they meet again in Poland, with one huge question. Does Ingebrigtsen still have the speed to beat him? The venue is the Silesian Stadium in Chorzów, a vast concrete bowl that Polish fans have nicknamed the Witch's Cauldron, where crowds of 40,000 generate an atmosphere that most athletics meetings can only dream about. This is the 13th stop on the 2026 Wanda Diamond League calendar, and the men's 1500 meters has quietly become the most compelling race on the entire program. Ingebrigtsen is entered. So is Hocker. So is the reigning world champion Isaac Nader, alongside the 2022 world champion Jake Wightman, and a supporting cast deep enough to sweep most national titles on the planet. For the Norwegian, this is his first Diamond League appearance since September 2024, when he won the 1500 meters at the series final in Brussels. It is also his first race over the distance since the World Championships in Tokyo last September, and that night still stings. He finished 8th in his opening heat and never reached the semifinals. To understand why Sunday carries so much weight, you have to understand how brutal the last 2 seasons have been for him. The Achilles problems began after the 2025 World Indoor Championships in Nanjing, where he had just collected gold medals in both the 1500 and the 3000 meters. The injury then swallowed his entire outdoor summer. Tokyo became his only outdoor competition of the year, and it unraveled completely. He went out in the first round of the 1500 meters. He finished 10th in the 5,000 meters final, watching from deep in the field as Hocker sprinted through the rain to a world title. Then in February of this year, he went under the knife. Surgeons cleaned up scar tissue on the protective sheath surrounding his left Achilles tendon. The expectation across the sport was blunt and unanimous. His 2026 season was finished before it started. Less than 7 months later, he stood on the start line in Birmingham with roughly 6 weeks of uninterrupted training behind him, and he dismantled a serious field. He sat patiently while Jimmy Gressier and Florian Brem shouldered the work at the front. He got himself boxed in around the final bend, found the gap he needed, and covered his last lap in 54.8 seconds with a closing 100 meters of 12.7. The clock stopped at 13:15:29. It was his 4th consecutive European 5,000 meters title, and he remains unbeaten at these championships across every distance he has contested. Afterwards, he described it as coming from the lowest of lows to being European champion again. He also estimated his own fitness at somewhere between 88 and 92%. Now here is why the 1500 meters tells a very different story. Winning a championship 5,000 meters rewards strength, patience, and one well-timed burst. The metric mile examines something else entirely. There is no long grinding middle section in which to wear opponents down, no room to hide a missing gear. It exposes anyone whose raw speed has quietly disappeared. Silesia will reveal exactly that. Look at the official entry list and you notice something unusual beside his name. Every other athlete in the field has a season's best printed next to them. Ingebrigtsen has an empty space and a personal best of 3:26.73, the European record he ran in Monaco in 2024. The 6 fastest whip-down 100-meter times ever recorded by a European athlete all belong to him. He sits 0.73 seconds away from Hicham El Guerrouj's world record of 3:26, a number that has survived untouched since 1998. He also knows this stadium intimately. In 2023, he ran 3:27.4 around this track. In August 2024, he returned and demolished Daniel Koeman's 3,000 meters world record here, clocking 7:17 F55 and erasing a mark that had stood for almost 28 years. Which brings us to the American on the other side of this story. Hocker is the reason Jakob Ingebrigtsen is not a two-time Olympic 1500-meter champion. In Paris in 2024, the Norwegian led into the home straight and looked completely in control. Hocker came off the inside rail, found a lane, and ran 3:27.65 for gold and an Olympic record. Josh Kerr took silver. Jared Nugus took bronze. Ingebrigtsen finished fourth, beaten out of the medals entirely in the event around which he had built his whole career. 16 days later in Lausanne, he answered emphatically. He controlled that race from the front, kicked clear on the last lap, and won in 3:27.83, with Hocker trailing 2 full seconds behind in second place. A few weeks after that, at the Brussels final, he beat the American again. So their 1500-meter rivalry reads like one enormous victory for Hocker on the biggest night of his life, and a series of comfortable replies from Ingebrigtsen everywhere else. Hocker's 2026 has been an odd season. Indoors, he was outstanding, taking the American mile record down to 3:45.94 with a 3:30.80 split at 1,500 meters along the way, then winning the United States indoor 3,000 meters title. He lost world indoor gold in Torun to Josh Kerr by 0.14 of a second. Outdoors, he has been almost invisible, finishing 6th in the Bowerman Mile at the Prefontaine Classic before retreating into a training block in Blacksburg, Virginia. Silesia is where his season restarts, and for all the Olympic gold and the world 5,000 meters title he claimed in Tokyo, Cole Hocker has still never won a Diamond League meeting. Ingebrigtsen arrives hunting his 22nd. Now consider the rest of that field, because treating this as a two-man contest would be a serious mistake. Isaac Nader of Portugal arrives as the reigning world champion. In Tokyo last September, with Ingebrigtsen eliminated and Hocker disqualified from the semifinals for jostling, the Portuguese runner timed his finish perfectly and became the first man from his country to win a global 1500 meters title, edging Jake Wightman by 0.02 of a second. He is ranked 3rd in the world and has run 3:30.43 this season. Wightman lines up here as well, the 2022 world champion, carrying the quickest season's best in the whole field at 3:29.95. Nobody in this field has traveled to Poland to make Jakob Ingebrigtsen look good. So how does it actually unfold? Everything hinges on the pace. Diamond League 1500-meter races normally feature pacemakers and an honest, aggressive rhythm, and that arrangement suits Ingebrigtsen perfectly. Endurance is the last quality an athlete loses and the first one that returns, so a hard and even race from the gun would let him grind the pure kickers out of contention lap by lap. A slow, tactical, bunched race is his nightmare.